and Ikki ended up trying out for the royal the examination so he could go into the school, the Blazer school, and from that he and from that he passed the examination. But do remember, his and Gyu's personality has fully mashed together, so he's always not talking, and this would hold him back slightly because now he doesn't feel he's gotten into the school, but he doesn't feel like trying anymore or trying to become a blazer or a knight or whatever. He doesn't really feel like it. So he doesn't show his breathing technique or his powers in general, and he just accepts everything that happens to him. So now, going over his backstory, this is the end of his backstory. Let's just go into the first episode of the anime, and from there the fight. And we're only gonna go to his first Blazer fight because honestly that's the only one that we kind of really care about. So not Giyu, Ikki comes in. Ikki is at his doing his round training. He still trains, but it's not as vigorous as he was when he was a kid because he used to do some shit as a kid. So basically what he did, he went through Oracle Daki's training using Giyu's memories. So yeah, he set up all the traps for himself, but he tried to forget all of them so he wouldn't instinctually just dodge them. And he also did try instinctual dodging so he could react to something that he didn't even see. But he did learn the ability to turn this kind of technique off and on, so he can decide when he wants something to hit him or he doesn't want. You understand what I'm trying to tell you. So after he goes his rounds, he opens his door and he still finds Stella naked and she still screams. But now now that he has Giyu's memories, he wouldn't really try to take off his clothes or anything. He would just proceed like nothing was happening. So, but the same thing would happen because she would still freak out because literally this man just ignored a naked woman in the house. And they still go to the director, and the director still ends up telling him, ends up scolding him for basically walking in there. But then he argues that it was his room, so why would he knock or do anything if it was his room? And the director says, well, you have a point. And this is where Stella comes in and says, what about the she asks why was he in her room, and this is where Ikki says that it's my room, I live there. And this is where the commander, is she her name commander? I can't remember. The head woman, the president, explained to them that Ikki, that was originally Ikki's room, but now they have to share it. Ikki doesn't really care, but Stella does have a problem with it, and she agrees if Ikki drops on his sword. But unsurprising to us, because we know Giyu's personality, he takes out the sword and he was about to fall on it, but like obviously the director came and basically scolded him for basically trying to kill himself. But honestly, that's what basically was trying to happen. But you know what? Excuse myself from that. Now, after that happening, Ikki, everything happens to Canning to the point where even to the point where the fight happens. He still uses his original powers instead of using his breathing technique. But he obviously beats her even harder than he originally did. And he, unlike in canon where he passed out, he wouldn't pass out, he would just be weaker than he normally is. So after that, everything goes to Candy. direct up to when his sister ends up kissing him, and yeah, everything from there matches. But let's go to the point where everybody was waiting for the fight, the first Blazer fight we had in the series, with him and the grass nigga, the tree stalker, spy, pedophile, creepy, ugly ass guy. Okay, now the fight originally goes the same, all up to the point where he decided to, all up to the point where all up to the point where he was originally found him, where he originally was starting to beat him, all up before that. So now Giyu was going to end up forwarding, but Stella shouted from the crowd and says, "Don't you dare give up. You can beat him. I believe in you." And this strikes something in him that he's never felt before, which was someone believing him. Even his sister, he does know, cares for her and loves him in a romantic way, but even his sister has never fully proclaimed that she believed in him. But Stella, a person that's only knew him for a few days, was the first person to fully believe in Ikki, and this struck something in him, where he finally decides to use his powers. Suddenly, a blast of killing intent hits the entire crowd. Ikki pulls out his sword, but the sword changes. The handle becomes white, and the guard becomes red. The blade itself stays the same, but the edge becomes black. The edge becomes blue. Ikki's eyes glow a blue color, and staring at his opponent. He gets in the stance. Fifth form, Dance of the Water. Dance of the Water. And then we can see after images of Ikki just dancing around the battlefield, looking for him. Although he's already found him, he wants to make him paranoid. So he starts talking to him. He starts pointing out his flaws in his stance, in his movements, in his way of talking. How he feels like he's invisible until he gets a slash on his back. Ikki didn't get a slash on his back, the opponent did. Ikki slashed him on the back, then his leg, then near his throat, but not exactly, just under, by his chest, but it was so close to the throat that the person knew if he wanted to, he could have just sliced his throat right there and then. But it didn't happen. He didn't slice his arm until he just gets a rampant amount of blows until we could just hear 11th form, and then the stadium, the trees just instantly disappear, and then everything turns white. Even people in the crowds, all they see was white until the ground becomes nothing but a raging torrent of water. Then they could see Ikki in the middle of the water, and then saying, was it dull light? It was dead calm. And he sliced down his sword. And after that, his opponent tried to shoot arrows at him, but they didn't even make contact with his skin. He just kept walking until he sliced right next to him, and the person dropped to the ground, knocked out. Now this is where we're gonna end the video. This is where the video is gonna end, and part 2 will be coming out at some point. Obviously, I did 2 videos today, so please cut me some slack. So yeah, like, this is the end of the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, because this is the first time I'm ever doing some what if like this. I did tease this before. It was a long time ago. If you do know about this, you do know about this. But yeah, this is kind of tease. I ain't gonna lie to you. But that's the end of the video, guys. Hope you have a good day, and don't be a me.